New Orleans of the mid-1970s had an indefinable spirit that permeated the city. It was wild, beautiful, and at the same time unpredictable. Into this came the New Orleans Jazz basketball team. Only the second NBA team located in the South, the team became the embodiment of the fun-loving, flamboyant attitudes of New Orleans. As one writer put it, everybody has come back to the old town full of the Jazz, and they promised to knock the fans off their feet with their playing. Indeed, they did. And it was the flashy ball control, passing, and arching jump shots of a true Southern icon, Pistol Pete, that defined the team. The game was fun, and the crowds were equally as fun.
Pete Maravich had the ability to do anything on the basketball court that could be done and that he wanted to do.
Maravich. Boy, he's got all kinds of moves. What move doesn't this guy have, Cal?
Oh, he can do it all. I don't know how you stop a guy like that.
It was just an incredible experience.
Up front to Jimmy McMillan. He drives. Off the glass, no good. Coleman rebounds. That was fine defense by Maravich.
He was the franchise.
Well, what do you say? 27 points for Maravich, and we're 5 minutes, almost 6 minutes from halftime.
It was something else.
Another steal.
We was a close-knit. We was like a family.
First time the Jazz was in. Oh, there's a foul on Beers. Pistol Pete really played Butch like a fiddle that time.
It was magical.
I tell you, if there's such a thing as a law of averages, Pistol will have to cool off pretty soon because he has not missed too many shots this season.
I think he defies that law and a few others sometimes. Otto Moore gets fed in the post, back to the Pistol, goes on a drive right to the basket. It is good, and he's fouled.
I don't know how you stop him. He is too much.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm running out of things to say about Maravich.
You can fly through the air with the greatest of ease. Jam on. You can fly through the air with the greatest of ease. Jam
Tonight from the Superdome in New Orleans, the Knicks face the New Orleans Jazz. Good evening, everyone. I'm Andy Musser along with Cal Ramsey here in the Superdome, and tonight the Knicks are facing the New Orleans Jazz, and of course that spells Pete Maravich. He had the biggest single game of anybody against the Knicks this year, 39 points. Who's going to stop him, Cal?
I don't know who's going to stop him, but I think Clyde might get the assignment. Maravich playing great basketball, particularly here at home. But Walt Frazier's come along for New York in recent ball games. He's playing very strong defense, and he's scoring well. That should be the matchup to watch tonight. Frazier against Pete Maravich.
Well, I'll never forget when I was sitting at the Richelieu Hotel and they signed Pete. And I just know how much he was ecstatic about leaving Atlanta and coming here, even though he knew an expansion team was going to be it's going to be rough road to hoe. And when he moved here, you know, it was really worth it because he was really about to quit basketball when he played for Atlanta. He's about to just say this isn't worth it because of the whole system, I mean, everything around. He's being blamed for everything.
I guess one of the fun times that I can remember about being in New Orleans and playing in the Louisiana Superdome was once we were considered that our home court, we were asked to follow out the Dixieland Jazz Band and do the second line before every home game. And if you can imagine what 12 tall guys looked like running out behind a band of people dressed like the Mardi Gras every game, that was the New Orleans Jazz. The fans liked us. I think the town embraced us.
The team was immersed in our culture, and the fans just loved them. And of course, it caught on. It was the players were very approachable. The staff and management were approachable. It was just an incredible experience.
There's the Pistol. He has really had some outstanding games against the Knicks. One time last year, the Pistol pumped in 45 in a double overtime game last year. Otto Moore and Bob McAdoo to jump it up. Don Murphy to put the ball in the air, and we are underway as Frazier wins the tip. So So the Knicks play it, and Frazier goes in underneath Maravich, pass it back between the legs of McAdoo, and picked up by McElroy and up to Maravich. Pistol down to McElroy, drives the baseline. A reach around is hung short. Tom McMillan gets the rebound. And Cal, you said he was in there to give the Knicks some extra power on the board.
Yes, Tommy's a very good offensive rebounder.
Here's Tommy Mack with the ball, giving it back to Monroe. Pearl starts down the middle, feeds to the baseline. A Tom McMillan jump shot is good, and the Knicks break on top 2-0.
You know that Tommy is a real good shooter once he gets himself set out there. He got a good pass from Monroe that time and a real good shooting position.
James McElroy in and out of the starting lineup for New Orleans this year, but back in since the injury to Freddie Boyd. He's going to have surgery on a right knee in just a couple of days. That shot would not fall for Moore. And here come the Knicks. Frazier on the dribble against McElroy, a fine defensive guard. McAdoo pitches back to Monroe and gets it back to Big Bob. Here's his shot over Otto Moore, and he is hit.
Well, Knicks did a lot of switching on defense in that game against Atlanta, and I'm sure it's that again this evening because they set a lot of picks out there for Pete Maravich.
McElroy fakes the stutter move. Here is a pass off from to the baseline. That is good by the Pistol as he gets his first field goal, and a foul on Tom McMillan.
Well, that time Pistol moving without the basketball. He comes along the baseline. Clyde gets caught behind the screen. You'll watch here. McMillan switches over to help out. McAdoo switches over to help out. And the foul is called. I didn't see who hit him, but they called the foul.
And the free throw was good. So that's a three-point play for Maravich. Here's Frazier's shot. It is no good. And Otto Moore gets the board.
Knicks shooting cold right now. They're getting very good shots, but they're not falling for them.
Bryant almost gets a steal at midcourt. Here's a Maravich bomb, and it's good. Pistol Pete. And he's got 5 points already, and New Orleans now by 3. That's 7-4. 7 straight points for New Orleans, and a foul on Bob McAdoo as the Knicks give it up. Foul.
McAdoo called for moving when he set a pick along the baseline. That's 2 personal fouls on him already.
McElroy studies a drive and moves on it. His reach around is good. And 9 straight points have been scored by New Orleans. It's a 9-4 New Orleans lead, and Red Holzman will take a timeout. With 8:41 left in the first quarter, the score now, the Jazz 9 and the Knicks 4.
At the Superdome, the game was such an event. It was a social, a cultural, and an athletic endeavor.
It wasn't unusual to have 25,000 people there, particularly the courtside fans. Working with Hot Rod, we were within 10 feet of the fans.
And it got very interesting there. I mean, you know, you got 30, 40,000 people yelling, screaming.
They let the coach know, they let the team know, they let the opposing teams know what they thought about them. And it was probably some of the best fans that you could ever have.
And that place with the Jazz sounded like the place where the Saints does. I mean, it was that noisy. It got rocking, and everybody used to stomp on the metal braces they had. And it was great.
The Jazz found a home in a cavernous building that wasn't built for basketball, but it fit so well, especially with all the promotions. And, you know, the memories of that are the $1 tickets and the big crowds and the flood and the rowboat, or the pirogue, excuse me. Yeah, it wouldn't be a rowboat in New Orleans. A pirogue to get Pete to the game.
Knicks scored the first 4 points in the ball game. The Jazz comes roaring back with 9, so it's 9-4.
The Knicks have had good shots on offense, but they haven't fallen for them, and they're not getting any offensive rebounds after they missed those shots.
Hey, speaking of swings, when these two teams met at the Garden on Tuesday night, there was a 38-point swing at that game. So that was really remarkable. The Knicks were down by 12, came back to lead by 26, and they won it by 17. Moving into the baseline is Frazier. He's got a switch, and he's on Griffin. Pistol picks him up as he moves to the middle. Back off to Tom McMillan for the jumper. With 2 seconds on the timer, they beat the clock. Second basket for Tom McMillan, who got a start tonight. The Jazz leads at 9-6.
And Tommy's matched up against the rookie. Griffin is doing a good job rebounding.
That's a charge on Pistol Pete. First foul on Maravich. Here's Stallworth moving in for a jump shot. It is short of the mark. Frazier for the rebound. Jimmy McMillan had gotten out quickly. Let's see if Clyde goes to him. Here's a Frazier jump shot. It is off the back iron, no good. Maravich rebound. The Pistol, who is about set to negotiate a new contract with New Orleans, hits and scores. 7 points for Pistol.
He's in pretty good negotiating position, too, leading the league in scoring right now.
Well, that's right, and of course the injury to Gail Goodrich, which has disabled him for the year, and at Gail's age, they don't know whether he's going to be able to come back or not. Tommy Mack short. Bob McAdoo around and no good. Tom McMillan misses a follow and Stallworth rebound. Knicks with 3 shots that almost fell, and in the final analysis, none did. New Orleans leads at 13-10. We're in the opening quarter. After the game, the Knicks have a charter flight back to New York. Here's a Maravich shot in the lane. It's good.
Well, the Knicks having a tough time defending against Pistol Pete right now.
McAdoo to the hoop, and he hangs it short. Otto Moore rebounds it out to Maravich. Pistol moving up the center, going with a jump shot. No, but a foul Monroe, and the Pearl does not believe it.
Well, the Jazz running with every opportunity now. They're controlling their defensive boards. The Knicks aren't getting any offensive rebounds, and the Jazz coming up running every time, and Pistol likes to handle the ball in the fast break.
Maravich, an 83% free throw shooter, going to the line for the second time. He is 1 for 1. That's the first foul on Monroe. Red Holzman is screaming at Don Murphy.
He says that Maravich jumped right into the defending ball player, Earl Monroe. The call didn't go that way.
Just over 4 minutes remaining in the opening quarter from the Superdome in New Orleans. Down the McAdoo low post. He takes the baseline on Moore. It's good, and a foul on Otto Moore. A possible three-point play coming up.
That's a strong move by Bob McAdoo, going baseline that time. He had almost no room at all, using his quickness here, coming underneath and gets the layup, and he'll shoot one, and he completes that for a three-point play.
Right, he makes the foul, and so McAdoo with 5 points, and the Jazz in the penalty now, so he would have had an extra try had he not made it. It's 17-14, New Orleans on top. 3:50 left in quarter number 1. Pete Maravich. Maravich in his 7th year from LSU.
Boy, he is an offensive machine.
13 points in the quarter already. 13 of 19 for New Orleans. McAdoo. 7 for Big Bob. Jazz on top by just 2, 19-17.
That last play by Maravich, Tom McMillan came over to help Butch Beard out, and they were both all over him, and he still got that shot in.
A drive by Williams, pitch it off. Here's a jumper at the baseline. Good by Otto Moore. He didn't score very much. Otto averaging just 6.2 a ball game, and he was picked up by the Jazz as a free agent. McAdoo, a jump shot from the right lane is good. And McAdoo now has 9 points to lead the Knicks.
You might see McAdoo switching off a lot on defense because Otto is not a real offensive threat, but if you give him a short jump shot, he'll make it. But McAdoo can gamble against him and help his teammates out.
E.C. Coleman to the middle, and Maravich, he's double-teamed and can't shoot. Gets it back to E.C. He's not really a scorer. E.C. is basically a defensive forward, so the Pistol lets it fly, and he hits. No shot is too long for Maravich.
Well, it's going to be an offensive show here. It's shaping up now. Pistol Pete and Bob McAdoo.
Now we've got 2 minutes left in the opening quarter. McAdoo in the lane gets the shot away. It is banked up and in by Big Bob, and he's got 11.
It's turning into an offensive show by both ball clubs right now. Nobody's missing.
Earlier this year, we had a shootout between Maravich and Monroe in a game at the Garden. First time the Jazz was in. Oh, there's a foul on Beard. Pistol Pete really played Butch like a fiddle that time.
He was moving very well to get his shot off that time.
And we've got a timeout at the Superdome with 1:43 left in the first quarter to score. The Jazz 25 and the Knicks 23.
The Municipal Auditorium. You know, the people hanging over the rafters, and Bill Walton coming to town and being called stinky, and the Jazz, you know, winning their first game against the Portland Trail Blazers when I think it was Walton's rookie season, if I'm not mistaken. He with the shaggy hair, the beard, and, you know, the Grateful Dead attitude that he had. Those days in that dark, dank arena are, you know, just so different than what the NBA game is now.
Playing in the old Municipal Auditorium, and you would have to have been there at that time to appreciate some of these things, but we didn't have any dressing facilities, and in the hallway around the arena, the people had set up iron rods and put these drapes up there. And I'd be in there at halftime. We'd be down by about 15 or 20 at half with this expansion team. And these wonderful New Orleanians who had been drinking that Dixie beer for a half would stick their head between the curtains and say, "You bum, you. You guys couldn't play dead." The New Orleans people are wonderful.
Pete Maravich headed for the foul line as we come back to play. Pistol was fouled by Butch Beard. We've got 1:43 left in the quarter. Would you believe his 16th point of this period? Well, that's really something. 17 of 27 for Pistol Pete. It's 27-23 New Orleans.
And he's shooting them from all over the floor.
Beard passing down to Jim McMillan. A well-run play to Monroe, but he is in the lane for 3 seconds. Pretty good defense by Aaron James in the lane. Aaron James kept Monroe out of shooting position. That's New York's 6th turnover.
Earl is upset. He's very close to a technical foul.
Maravich is getting a rest now, and you see Mo Howard, number 14 in the game for the first time. Mo was a draft choice of the Cavaliers this year out of Maryland. Picked up here recently as a free agent. And Mo Howard hits a basket. It's the Jazz widest edge of the game, an 8-point margin, 31-23. 10 seconds left in the quarter. It is good, and a foul on McElroy, and nothing like the old three-point line. Now Phil Jackson gets up off the bench to check in for the Knicks tonight. Earl, a good free throw shooter, and that's it. Now let's see, there's Jackson pressuring the inbound by Coleman. He gets it into Nate Williams. Nate comes up front to Howard. Howard drives off, and a block by McAdoo. Another block! Fine defense by Bob McAdoo.
Well, he made 2 super plays that time.
And that's the end of the first quarter with the score. New Orleans 31, the Knicks 26.
The autopsy that was done by the Los Angeles County coroner showed an amazing revelation that Pete had a congenital heart defect, and that what occurred in a Pasadena gymnasium at 40 years of age for Pete was really destined at birth, and that most people who have this disorder don't live past 20 years of age.
I was with Pete in New York. We were playing the Knicks up there. And, of course, he always had, the Knicks loved him up there. New York was just his town. And we were walking from the hotel, walking down the street, and I said, there was a taxi stop there, and a lady was getting into it, and I said, "Pete, that's Nanette Fabre." And so he walked up to the window, and he looked down, and the lady said, "Aren't you Pete Maravich?" I thought that was just symbolic of Pete, that everybody knew him. Nat Fabre, who the hell? I bet she never seen a basketball game.
The Superdome, as big as it was still a quiet place comparatively. Certainly the crowds went wild, but as the game was being contested, there was no hip-hop, there were no lights flashing. And what I miss about that, that sort of spans this time, is hearing the sneakers on the floor. You could hear the guys making their cuts and, stopping, and that was basketball music.
Maravich is back in the game now, and Tiki Burton and Bill Bradley are playing for the Knicks, as is Lonnie Shelton. Lonnie blocked that one nicely. Another try, and Williams scores. Nate Williams. Here comes Butch. Beat it off to Lonnie Shelton, and he lays it. Nice move by Lonnie.
Well, it's cooled off a little bit now. Maravich, he's missed 3 shots in a row after he's really shooting well in that first quarter.
It's 35-28. The Pistol had that one pop out. A head fake and a foul. Lonnie Shelton draws his first personal of the night. And Maravich to the foul line. That was his 18th point. Nobody in this ball game has missed a free throw yet. Both sides perfect at the foul line. Now it's 37-28 New Orleans. Bradley on the floor, pass to McAdoo. Goes down to the baseline, shoots over top E.C. Coleman, but it's no good. And Maravich takes the rebound away from Lonnie Shelton, up to Coleman. Score it! And the Jazz jump up by 11, 39-28. Brett Holzman calls a timeout. With 9:35 left in the second quarter, the score, New Orleans 39, the Knicks 28.
He could handle the basketball and loved to do it. And the only thing that I ask the other players, when you're running down the court, you keep your eye on him and keep your hands above your waist, because you're liable to get the basketball at any time. And he loved to trick somebody.
I mean, he had Butch Beard guard him, Walt Frazier guard him, and Earl Monroe. I think he took all three of them on that day.
I remember games like Pete where he was chastised in the newspaper for shooting too much, and so I believe it was against Seattle. He goes down for 3 quarters, does not take a shot, has 15 assists, I believe. Then in the fourth quarter decided to shoot and scored 15 or 16 points. And I think that's what most people are going to remember about the New Orleans Jazz is Pete Maravich.
Maravich. Boy, he's got all kinds of moves. What move doesn't this guy have, Kel?
Well, he can do it all. I don't know how you stop a guy like that. You'll have to have help. And right now, the Knicks aren't able to do anything with it.
21 points for the Pistol right now on a 41-28 lead. A whistle before the shot by Tiki Burton. 3 seconds. That basket does not count. Well, the turnovers are mounting, and the Knicks have committed 9 to 5 for the Jazz. Frazier makes the bounce pass to Tiki Burton. The ball was knocked away by Howard. Here comes Mo. Score it. And look at the happy Mo Howard. And an inbound steal for the Jazz. Everything is going wrong. Pistol fires. Oh, come on, come on. That's ridiculous. It's 47-28. Tiki Burton flies, and it's no good. We've got a loose ball foul.
Well, nothing is going right for the Knicks now.
Williams speeding off the drive. Here's Maravich. They got it to the guy they want. Pistol in and out of the lane. Here's his shot. Good. A 21-point lead, 49-28. Lonnie Shelton gets a basket, and that's only the second basket for the Knicks in the quarter as you watch Dean Meminger get ready to come into the game.
Well, the Knicks are having 2 big problems right now. One is turnovers on the offense, and the second is not able to contain the Jazz at all when they're on defense.
Well, that basket counted, and Walt Frazier draws the foul. Lonnie Shelton has scored all points for the Knicks in the quarter as you watch Dean Meminger come to work. Otto Moore is not a good free throw shooter, 67%. Rebound, Phil Jackson, nearly stolen by Howard. 51-30. Knicks will get it back, but Howard's playing some defense.
Well, he certainly is, hustling back, coming in behind Earl Monroe and knocking the ball away.
New Orleans has outscored the Knicks 20-4 in the quarter. A loose ball foul is called on Maravich. Pistol called on his 3rd personal foul. That could be a factor. It's pretty early to have 3. 7:03 left in the second quarter. The Knicks have turned it over 6 times in the period, and New Orleans picks it right off again.
The Knicks just not moving that ball well on the offensive end. The Jazz playing real good defense, but because the Knicks are not sharp on offense at all.
Well, last night, the Knicks had their lowest quarter of the year, 12 points. Right now in this quarter, halfway through it, they've scored just 4. 6:20 left in the quarter. Looks like somebody ought to put a handle on that ball right now. McAdoo shoots. Good. And inside contact between Phil Jackson and Otto Moore, and they both went down to the floor. 13 points for McAdoo.
Now the Knicks have given Dean Meminger the task of trying to contain Pete Maravich. Nobody else has been able to do anything with him so far.
Well, what do you say? 27 points for Maravich, and we're 5 minutes, almost 6 minutes from halftime. He's an incredible performer. Earl twists into the lane, but he traveled. It doesn't count.
Well, Pistol can shoot, but he wants to get his shots off. You watch him using a screen here, working against Game Meminger. Now he comes off the screen by Nate Williams and Otto Moore. Two guys boxing out right there, and their Pistol goes up for a shot.
Another steal. Oh, the turnovers are killing the Knicks. Kelly. And a 23-point lead, 55-32.
Timeout, New York.
Timeout for the New York Knicks. And with 5:04 left in the second quarter, the score, the Jazz 55 and the Knicks 32.
It was just a big party over there. As I say, I went 41 games every year. That's they only play 41 games at home, and so my whole family. Of course, I had the son that was the ball boy for there for so long time, and have all these people that want to sit where I was sitting, and I was a big celebrity. I liked it.
You have a feeling about a person, but they had the feeling about this team, same as you do a person. I mean, all those guys, Truck, Rich, Gail Goodrich, my brother, they loved all those guys. There was nobody they never disliked. I don't think they ever booed anybody.
And it's now going with two small forwards in an effort to get some better offensive play in the ballgame.
Knicks made some points. They've scored just 6 in the quarter. Bill Bradley with the ball, passing across to Monroe. The Pearl on a drive. Maravich has him blocked off to Jim McMillan for a jumper. It's no good, and a rebound Griffin. Here's a halftime NBA score. Golden State 52 and Buffalo 50. The Warriors have lost 3 in a row, and the Braves have won 4 straight. Joe Mulaney doing a fine job in Buffalo. Maravich with a hook shot. Incredible, absolutely incredible. 29 points.
Well, he is doing it all now, showing his hook shot on Dean Meminger.
No good. Rebound Coleman. No second tries for the Knicks right now. We've got 3.5 minutes left in this quarter, and it's been a nightmare. Last night it was the third quarter that was so bad. Bo Howard puts one in. Nobody is missing at that end of the floor. 61-32. They have almost doubled the Knicks' output.
This is an incredible offensive show by the New Orleans Jazz. They can do no wrong.
You saw Butch Beard getting ready to come in. And an offensive foul. And I tell you, this is really unusual to see just everything go wrong. This is not the largest deficit the Knicks have faced this year. Back on January 11th in the third quarter at Portland, they were down by 34. But it's approaching that as Maravich guns one up, and it's 63-32. A steal. And it's taken by Meminger. Right now, Pete Maravich has 1 less point than the Knicks as a team.
Right now, the Knicks cannot do anything right on either end of the floor.
Meminger against Howard. And the Jazz keep it. No, it's stolen away by Beard. Up front to Jimmy McMillan. He drives. Off the glass, no good. Coleman rebounds. That was fine defense by Maravich. Williams on a move, and he traveled. Yes, he did. 2:17 left in the quarter. And the Knicks are calling a timeout. Well, what do you think, Cal? New Orleans had 31 points at the end of the opening quarter. Now they've got 63. The Knicks had 26, and now they've got 32.
Well, what do I think? The Jazz are playing a great basketball game, no doubt about it. They're doing everything right, and the Knicks are doing everything wrong right now. The Jazz getting good shots inside. They're getting the second shot. They're running the ball because the Knicks are not shooting well. The Jazz are controlling their defensive boards, coming out very quickly.
And they have been outscored in the period 32-6. It is really one of the most unusual periods of NBA pro basketball that I've ever seen. Here comes Tiki Burden. Tiki goes inside, puts it up good, and we've got a foul. Bill Jackson in for the Knicks. Tiki Burden hits the first free throw. Hickey hitting at 56%, and his only free throw, I should say, and Jackson gets that ball. McAdoo.
Well, the full court press worked in New York that time. They made the steal, and McAdoo had the jump at the top of the key.
Knicks now with 11 points in the quarter. Make it 12 points in the quarter. Tiki Burton comes back and scores again. And the Knicks putting a little dent in that margin right now. 65-43. Jazz breaks the pressure this time. Howard feeding off to Williams. He blows a layup. McAdoo rebounds. 7 seconds in the quarter. 5 seconds. Tiki Burton to the basket. No good. And the rebound by Howard. And that will do it in the quarter. And that's the end of the first half. With the score, the Jazz 65 and the Knicks 43.
Pete had a problem with the circulation to his heart, as well as having an enlarged heart. And these two problems, he said, almost certainly caused an arrhythmia, or an abnormal rhythm of the heart, that interfered with the pumping, the contracting function of the heart. He went into a cardiac arrest. And then, of course, he lost consciousness. And even though we started CPR within 15 seconds of him stopping breathing, because I was bent over him at that moment, we could not start his heart beating again.
And here is the hugeness of this Superdome, and this basketball court almost seems like it's lost in it. They just kind of side it up to one side, put in those extra stands, and away we go. But this is a huge edifice here in New Orleans. This is not your average arena. 65-43 as we start the third quarter. New Orleans on top. Here's the pistol, and he has been hot. McElroy, stalwart, a little bit long, and McAdoo gets the rebound. And let's see if the Knicks can score first here in the third quarter. Tiki Burton to McAdoo. Mac baits a pop shot, moves in tighter. It is good, and a foul on Otto Moore.
McAdoo making a good move. He had a jump shot, but he put the move that time on the big fellow, Otto Moore.
Right, he adds the free throw, and so it's 65-46. Maravich bailed it back as he came across midcourt in the air. Here's the shot by Pistol. He's good.
I don't know how you stop him. He is too much.
Cal, I don't know about you, but I'm running out of things to say about Maravich.
McAdoo's not doing a bad job in New York. He's shooting that ball very well, too.
He has outscored the Pistol in the quarter, 7-4. Butch Beard on a foul. I tell you why Butch is upset. He got nothing but ball, but he knocked the ball into Maravich's head. That's the old head foul, Cal. The Pistol with a 37-point output.
Well, the story of this ball game is Pistol Pete Maravich. He is really doing it all. The Knicks trying to really give Butch Beard some help now defensively against Pistol, but nothing seems to work.
39 points for Maravich, and that matches his high against the Knicks. That matches the high for any single player in the NBA against New York this year. Beard misses, offensive rebound Jackson. Back to Butch. McAdoo and a whistle, 3 seconds on the Knicks.
I tell you, if there's such a thing as the law of averages, Pistol will have to cool off pretty soon because he has not missed too many shots this season.
I think he defies that law and a few others sometimes. Otto Moore gets fed in the post, back to the Pistol, goes on a drive right to the basket. It is good, and he's fouled, and he has hit for the highest number of points of any player against the Knicks this year. He's got 41.
And he made another great offensive move, that time going to his left, going around Tom McMillan, and Tom pushing him as he goes up for a shot.
Maravich at the foul line adds the point. Now it is 80-58 New Orleans, and the Pistol with 42. He is 10 for 10 at the foul line. He is now 9 points away from his career high. E.C. Coleman gets called on the foul for New Orleans. And New Orleans is taking this time out. With 6:54 left in the third quarter, the score, the Jazz 80, the Knicks 58.
I think we had players that complement each other, and I think we had players that got along well off the floor. Like I said earlier, we was a close-knit, we was like a family. But the year that we had Truck, and like we had a Truck Robinson and E.C. Coleman. Really, when we played with E.C. at small forward, we had myself, Bud Stallworth, and Nate Williams. So EC was a great defensive player. We were the offensive players, so EC didn't have to worry about scoring because we'll take up the scoring load and he'll stop the other tough forward. But I tell you that I think you can't be successful if you don't get along off the floor. It's just like I tell the story all the time. Bud Stallworth and I stayed in the same apartment complex. We played the same position, and we would ride to practice together in the same car. One day I drive, one day he drive. But we work hard against each other. Both of us was trying to make the team. We'd have to scrimmage against each other. But after practice, it was over. We get back in the car, we go home, have lunch. And that's the type of relationships that we had on the team.
It was such a special time in New Orleans. And I really do think that the Jazz captured New Orleans and had a piece of its heart, certainly unlike the Hornets do now. And I didn't think that pro basketball could take away from the Saints, but I guess the Jazz shared a spot with the Saints.
All right, here's Maravich. What a ball game he's playing. 42 points for the Pistol right now. Frazier knocks the ball free. Clive trying to dog Pistol feed. Off it comes to McElroy. A jump shot for him. No good. McAdoo rebounding. Now we've reached the halfway point of the quarter, and it's 82-58 New Orleans. The Pearl throws up an off-balance shot, no good. Shelton fighting for the rebound. It comes to Stallworth. And he decides not to force the fast break and to go ahead and wait. Maravich still working for shots, and he gets the shot. Oh, what an incredible shot. A foul will be called on McAdoo, and he almost got the field goal.
Yeah, he can do no wrong tonight. Earl was on him. He put a good move on Monroe to get him off balance. McAdoo came over to help out. You'll watch on the replay now. As he puts the fake on Earl, Earl goes past. McAdoo comes to help out. He gets them both up in the air, and he gets the contact there as he goes up for a shot.
Pistol has missed his first free throw. He is now 11 of 12 at the line. And you'd have to say, unless he sits down for a large stretch of this ball game, if he keeps playing, he's going to set a new career high tonight, because he's within 8 points of it right now. 10 seconds on the timer. Lonnie Shelton shoots, no good. Rebound, E.C. Coleman. It's 83-58 New Orleans with 5.5 left in the third quarter. Pistol fires, he's short. He's running out of energy, I think.
He might be a little tired now.
Wouldn't be surprised. Frazier lets one loose. Good by Clyde. 4:45 remaining in the quarter. The Knicks will be facing a stretch of 3 straight games at home, which they will enjoy. Maravich misses again, and a loose ball foul on Maravich. The Pistol draws his 4th personal foul.
Well, the big story here is the Pistol. Apparently, he's kind of cooled off now. He's missed several shots from the outside, but he's had a fantastic offensive night so far.
New Orleans in the penalty with 4:37 left in the quarter. Been a tough night for the Knicks.
And no doubt you'll see New York go into a full-court press with Phil Jackson in the ball game. They were pretty successful in the first half with this.
10 points for Shelton. Here's Maravich dribbling through that press. He's going to go in and drive, shoot on the run. It's good, and he was fouled. And Pistol ran right over top. A cameraman perched at courtside. Boy, he looks like he wants that new career high tonight.
Well, it's awfully tough to press a man with his dribbling ability. You'll watch him here beating Lonnie Shelton. Monroe coming over, and he just goes right around Earl here. Earl bumps him as he goes up for a shot, and he makes a 3-point play out of it.
That's right. He hits the foul. That's his 46th point. Monroe, no good. Rebound, the Pistol.
But they're going to have to score a little better than that. Take advantage of these opportunities on the missed shots.
Maravich still working for shots. Here goes the Pistol. Double team. Score it. Maravich now with 48 points. Can you imagine, when you talk about all the things we've said about this guy tonight, there was a player in the NBA who averaged 50 points a ball game.
And that was the big fella, Wilt Chamberlain.
I mean, he didn't do it once in a while. He went through a year averaging 50 points a ball game. That's a record that I don't think will ever be broken.
I doubt it.
A minute and a half left in the third quarter. Lonnie pokes the ball away from E.C. Coleman. Number 14. Mo Howard coming back for New Orleans. Number 14. Number 24, Bill Bradley inserted into the Knick lineup, replacing Bob McAdoo. Pistol Pete Maravich getting a rest right now, and listen to the hand he gets from this New Orleans crowd. now with 48 points. New Orleans turns it over. And Butch Beard lays it up on a pass from Monroe.
I tell you, Pistol has to be in great position to renegotiate his contract now after a game like this. You watch Maravich here making a move against Butch Beard. Comes between his legs. Then he gets a little screen there. Comes around. McAdoo comes to help. Earl comes to help. But to no avail.
So it's 94-75. New Orleans on top. 48 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Lonnie Shelton floating it down to Jackson. And Monroe is fouled as he moves into the lane. Mo Howard called on the foul. Second foul on Howard. Both clubs are in the penalty. .94-77. Again, the press put on by the Knicks. They need a tip by Jackson, and the Knicks steal it. Here's a jumper for the Pearl. No good. Bradley tips it back to the Pearl again. Monroe to Bill at the baseline. Back to Monroe. A jump shot. No good. And a rebound out O'Moore. The Knicks really wanted that basket because the pressure defense got them the chance.
That's true. They worked hard on defense to get that ball back, and Earl had a couple of shots, but it just wouldn't fall for him.
12 seconds remaining in the third quarter from the Superdome in New Orleans. Here's Mo Howard into the lane to Otto Moore. His shot. A buzzer beater by Otto Moore. And that's the end of the third quarter with the score, the Jazz 96 and the Knicks 77.
Instead of having two normal artery systems that supply blood to the heart, he had a single coronary artery. And the right side artery had to supply all the blood that the heart needed instead of it coming from two sides. And that's the essence of why we lost him.
Everybody loved to watch us play. And Pete just instilled it with the rest of them because you got a fast break. You don't know where the ball's coming from. And, you know, he hit them in the head, hit them in the back. He hit them all over the place. But they learned to play. And it was good. It was good. That was what you went to see.
Pete used to throw a pass that I've never seen thrown in the league. He could throw a ball, palm it, put his hand on top of the ball, and throw it the length of the court with reverse English on a fast break, and have the ball bounce up underneath the basket to a streaking player and land right in the guy's hands for a layup. I've never seen anyone in the game today. That doesn't mean they're not there or they don't have the talent to do it. I've seen overhand baseball passes, volleyball passes, blue darters, so to speak. But Peter had this ability to take his hand and flip it up like that, put reverse English on the ball, and have it wait for the player to get to the goal. It's never been done. Nobody's ever seen it.
He had revolutionized the game for a white player to come and start going through his legs during the game. I mean, anybody could go back and forth between their knees and behind their back, but Pete did it in the game, and Pete did it well.
The Knicks will start this quarter with Monroe and Beard playing backcourt. McAdoo at center, Shelton and Bradley at forward. Here's Beard moving it into the forecourt. Pete Maravich is back into the game for New Orleans, and he has scored 48. Beard's shot is no good. Bradley offensive rebound. The follow shot is overshot, and an over-the-top foul on Lonnie Shelton.
Lonnie hustling on the offensive boards, trying to get that ball back for New York, as Bill Bradley's shot was deflected as he went up, and Lonnie picked up his fourth personal foul.
Maravich with a whole quarter to work on his career high is only 3 points away from it. It's 96-81. Knicks have cut the margin in half. The Jazz once led it by 33. Well, there's Maravich hitting his 50th point. One away from a career high. His career high coming into the year was 50, but he had that 51-point game in December. Loose ball foul. Bob McAdoo called.
Both New York's big men are in foul trouble now. McAdoo has 4 personal fouls, and Lonnie Shelton has 4, as well as Pistol Pete Maravich.
8 seconds on the timer. Beard feeds it across to Tom McMillan, drops the ball, and the Jazz picks it up, and that resets the timer. The Knicks with their 23rd turnover, Cal.
They had a good opportunity now. They sliced that lead down to 15. They could have cut to 13 on that play, but Bush didn't get that shot up in the air.
A jumper by the pistol, a career high for Maravich. 52 points. Maravich with a new career mark. And he does it with 9 minutes left in the ball game. It's 100-83, New Orleans on top. And you folks watching on television tonight are seeing the best offensive game in Maravich's history. He's played professional ball for 7 years. 10 points for Tom McMillan. Again, it's only a 15-point margin, 100-85.
Well, Knicks have tried everything and everybody on the pistol, and nobody's worked out too well.
He's still shooting. 54 and still counting. I'm going to run out of room on the score sheet here in a minute. Monroe, short, air ball, and out of bounds. In the third quarter, the Knicks shot 41%, and the Jazz shot 44%. Here's Walt Frazier coming back, so is Sticky Burton. Monroe and Beard are coming out. Mo Howard and Maravich remain on the New Orleans back line. High post to Otto Moore. He's played a surprisingly good game, and he's played a lot more time tonight than Kelly. That's an offensive foul.
Well, Nate made a move to get around Bill Bradley, but as he did and got his shot off, he crashed into Tom McMillan.
Nate Williams is called on the personal foul as second. 8 minutes remaining. New Orleans by 17 points. Knicks need a streak.
A long streak.
Yeah. Tom McMillan. Well, he gets it started. It's back to 15. Tommy Mack with 12 points tonight. 102-87. The pistol firing for 56. He's got it. 56 points.
Well, he's incredible. He had a cold streak for a while where he missed about 3 or 4 shots. Now he can't miss anything.
7.5 minutes remaining. McAdoo drives on Griffin. Puts it up with a lot of spin, but it won't go, and Griffin has a rebound. Here's the guy that had 25 rebounds against Milwaukee on this floor Wednesday night. The fans cheering for Pete. Here goes the pistol. He'll let it fly. This one is off target, but he's been fouled.
He can do no wrong for the Jazz this evening.
So he can pick up a couple here. That would give him 58. Them both, so the pistol at 58 and the Jazz on top 106-87. 7 minutes left in this ball game. Knicks back home against the Pacers tomorrow night. Here's traveling. The Jazz are taking a timeout, and this crowd will roar. With 6:59 left in the fourth quarter to score, New Orleans 106 and the Knicks 87.
It was magical, hard to describe. In fact, to this day, I try to relate the electricity associated with seeing Maravich light up the court, so to speak, light up the audience, light up the players. Just an incredible talent. And it was showtime. When Peter was on, it was showtime. There was nothing like it that I've ever seen in my lifetime.
The one Jazz memory that I have over any other was the pass between the legs against Buffalo. I'm reasonably sure that sort of was the beginning of the end of the Jazz in New Orleans. Jazz was headed to the playoffs, up by 30 some odd points. Pete's in the game in the fourth quarter, and it's showtime, and showtime turned into a tragedy. It was one of the greatest passes I've ever seen. Three-quarter court, between the legs, bounce pass to either Aaron or Truck. My memory dims there. You know, hitting the guy right in the hands, and then him crumpling to the floor. And you had this premonition that it wasn't good.
He was a magician, but he grew up that way. You know, it's legendary about how he would go to school and when he was in elementary school, junior high school, dribbling the ball behind his back, through his legs. And these were things that very few people were doing at that time.
I mean, that was one of those nights I wish they had the three-point play. It would have been really something if they had the three-point play.
Pete Maravich has all of the points New Orleans has scored this quarter. He's had 50 or more points twice this year. The Jazz won both times. He's had 40 or more points 6 times. The Jazz won all 6. He has scored 30 points or better 26 times, and the team's record in those games is 18-8. So when Pistol does it, the Jazz do it. Here they go, and he gets a layup to hit 60. You're watching basketball history for Pete Maravich tonight, 60 big ones. And this is the highest single game for any player in the NBA this year. Tom McMillan short, and the rebound taken down by Otto Moore.
Pistol is great with the basketball, but he's also very good without the ball. You watch him give the ball up here, bump Dean off on that pick there. McMillan did a nice switch, and that's the result. Pistol's in for a layup.
Here's another jump shot by Maravich, no good. Rebound, Otto Moore. Get it back to Mo Howard. He hits. Previous high game by any NBA player this year was 51. It happened twice, both by Maravich and also by Phil Smith of Golden State. Halfway through this final quarter, and Maravich is tripped, and he comes up holding his ankle. And wouldn't it be something if this fine player got hurt in a game where he had come up with a performance like this, but he got tangled up, and it looked like it was with Meminger, didn't it?
Nope, I think it was Tiki Burton came behind and reached in for the ball. Yeah, it's Tiki reaching in for the ball. He gets his foot, he twists his ankle a little bit coming down. I don't think it's too serious. I hope not anyhow.
And they're taking a look at him. Trainer Don Sparks is out there working on the Pistol. And
you watch again, Tiki steps on his foot here, reaching in, trying to get the ball right there. And he turned his ankle a little bit, but he is not hurt. Not bad.
Might have suffered a floor burn sliding like that, too. Here he is at the free throw line. And he just keeps scoring them. That's 61 points. He misses this one here. He's had a good night at the foul line, too. He's 14 of 16 from the free throw line. Tiki Burton has the ball knocked away. Lonnie Shelton tries to follow, can't do it. Otto Moore's pass out is blocked, but the Jazz recover it. Here's the Pistol. Sees some daylight, goes in, lay it up. Good. No, a charge. A charging foul on Pistol, and that is his 5th personal foul.
Well, you watch Pistol here. He makes a move. Tiki Burton trying to make a steal on him here. Tom McMillan moving over in position. Tough call. Could have gone either way, but it went against Maravich.
Rich Kelly is in for New Orleans. The ball knocked away.
Well, Dean working hard on defense that time. He was fronting Pistol Pete, and that ball came in and went off of Dean's hands, they called. They're looking for him.
Aaron James inside. Look at that move! What a basket. He's got 63. He put the right spin on that ball.
He sure did.
Tiki Burton fires up and hits a Tiki with a long one. Tiki has contributed 7 points. It is 113-91. New Orleans on top. The crowd rooting for Pete every time he comes up the floor. Knicks trying to double team him now.
Dean has the task of trying to contain him, and that's a hard job today.
Here he uses a pick and scores again. And look at his teammates rooting for him. Look at Coleman. Coleman leaped into the air when he scored. 65 for the Pistol. Tiki Burton doing his Pistol Pete imitation. 115-93.
The Jazz are going to Pistol every time down the floor now.
They're trying to get picks for him now. They're no longer asking him to bring the ball up the floor. Here's a foul. Dean Meminger. And free throws coming for Maravich. Well, this is some night. We've got 2:48 left, and he does indeed have a chance to get into the 70s. Playing for the first time tonight, number 11, Ron Behagen, into the ball game. He replaces Coleman.
When Ron came in the game, he came in to congratulate Maravich on his great shooting performance this evening. Pistol is doing it good.
66 points. Loose ball foul on Behagen.
The fans are yelling for Pete to get the ball.
Behagen, goaltending, scored for Behagen. Tom McMillan blocked it on the way down. 2:14 remaining. The Pistol with 66 right now. Here's a basket for him if he can convert. 68 for Maravich. And a steal. Look at him fight for this ball. The Pistol's doing it all. A great ball game. Traveling. And the crowd is going wild here at the Superdome.
I wonder what kind of contract he's going to ask for after this ball game.
Well, he ought to call his agent in right away. Bonnie Shelton with a dramatic stuff shot. 122-97. Jazz on top. 1:45 to go, and it's just a question of how many the Pistol will score. Here he is with the basketball. He takes the shot. No good. He's forcing a little bit. There's no question about that, but he's making most of them anyway.
And he has to be tired right now.
Sure. Dickie Burden. Out to Pistol. Goes on a drive. He's out of the ball game. They called him with an offensive foul, and that will foul him out of the ball game with 1:18 to go. Listen to the hand he gets with 68 points. Total by a guard in the history of the National Basketball Association.
Well, you got to give it to him. He put on a performance this evening.
Only two men in the history of the NBA have ever scored more. Elgin Baylor and Will Chamberlain.
Well, they probably heard that. They announced only two players have ever scored more than Pete did tonight, Baylor and Chamberlain. The final score, 124-107. New Orleans wins it.
The reason we honor him is not because he was such a great basketball player. We honor his memory because after all of those other successes and after all of the honors and the trophies, he came face to face with Jesus Christ. Remember Pistol Pete for work with the Lord. He would want that.